Namaste, India. Welcome to the show She Speaks at 10, courtesy of Aambra Foundation. My name is Chandana Ganguly, and I'm a holistic therapist and wellness expert based out of Delhi and Bangalore. I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today, and I would like to thank Ambra Foundation for this beautiful opportunity to share my journey with all of you, and hopefully we can bounce off each other and learn certain things along the way. I think this was the initiative beautifully started by Ambra Foundation, where they invited people like myself to come and share our stories, hoping that along the way, a lot of you will resonate with it and also share your experiences and come out in support of each other. So before I begin, I would definitely like to give a big shout out to Vinita Bakshi, the founder of Ambra Foundation, and all the initiatives that Ambra is doing right now, especially for women empowerment in the Delhi NCR region. I grew up in Delhi, guys, and Delhi is always a very special city to me. Now I'm in Bangalore, and for me, I lived abroad. Just a little bit about me before I begin. I used to live abroad. I studied abroad. I was a banker in London. And then I had a personal health condition, which made me question my lifestyle. I had a very successful life, as many people would see it. I went to a top university. I had a very successful career. And had I stuck onto it, I would have had a very stereotypical picture perfect life. But then came my personal health condition, a few instances in my life, which made me question if I was truly happy, which made me want to seek more from life, find an inner sense of peace, an inner sense of connection. And that kind of started my journey into spirituality as well as healing. So after that, I worked for 7 years as a banker. And after that, I quit my job and I decided to travel the world to learn from some of the oldest and greatest teachers available. I worked and I studied a lot of Western behavioral sciences and the different psychology modalities. And I also traveled to different parts of Asia, different parts of India to learn some ancient holistic healing techniques. While I was actually on this quest to remove my physical pain, I realized that I just stumbled upon a greater field that is unknown to most of us, which is the connection between our emotions, our inner spirituality, and our health. I think most of us see our health, our mental wellness, and our spirituality as very separate things. But I realized this, especially as I went to certain Eastern cultures and studied their philosophy. I realized that the root cause of any problem that a person faces, be it a physical health issue, a long term health condition, an emotional theme, certain emotions like guilt, jealousy, anger, a constant relationship theme, insecurity, lack of confidence. The root cause of all these issues actually began when we became disconnected with ourselves. When we are disconnected with ourselves, we feel the need to have others, to feel validated by others. And this disconnection with ourselves actually creates most of the challenges that we face today in society, especially women. And this begins very early on, It begins with when our little boy or our little girl is growing up, and we tell them things like, if you do this, you'll be a good girl. If you do that, you're a bad boy, or when we actually give them stickers and rewards for when they do something right, and we punish them when they do something wrong. At a very young age, as human beings, we feel like to be loved, to be accepted, we need to be someone, we need to do some things. So there is a criteria to be successful in life. And then as a child, we start behaving in a way that we know will give us rewards, that will give us love. As teenagers, we begin to act in ways to conform with our friends because we know that will give us acceptance. When we grow up, we start chasing those goals, those dreams, which we think will give us happiness in the form of money, in the form of social status. But at the end of the day, what we're really looking for is love. And very often we look for it outside because none of us know how to look for it inside. And this creates a life of complete reliance on the other person. And today, more than ever, Everyone is facing some sort of disappointment in life, be it a disappointment in their careers, a disappointment in relationships, a disappointment in the way their life has panned out in their personal life, in their bodies, in their health. And those are just gentle nudges for life to give you a bit of a feeler, a bit of an awakening that, hey, the things you think or the things you thought would make you happy actually do not. So start exploring. This exact same thing happened in my life. The things I thought would make me happy did not anymore. And I was really questioning and wondering if there was more to life. And that started my journey of self exploration. So I wanted to actually remove a physical pain. But I happened to stumble upon an entire philosophy and a new way of looking at life. And this way, to sum it up very simply, is that everything we truly need, everything we truly seek, everything we truly love is inside of us. All our efforts, all the things we chase in life are just our ways of trying to get it. But very often, when we actually look within us, we will find the root cause and the solution to any challenge that we face. So, this is my philosophy, and I'm here talking about a very important theme to me today, which is the empowerment of people, especially women. So, like I said, I was a banker in London. I spent a huge part of my formative years. I grew up in Delhi, but when I went to London when I went to the US when I was really young, and then I went to London, moved to London after that. So I had spent a lot of my formative years abroad. And I grew up in a very protected environment. My dad and my mom nurtured me, took care of all my needs. My family was very protective. So when I grew up, I experienced growing up in the real world when I went to college for the first time. And it was a very scary experience. And very often, when you have parents who do everything for you also get used to that form of life. So it's very difficult to do something on your own. You don't have the confidence. You always feel like you need people. So this is one end of it. The other end is when you have parents who are unavailable, you have a lot of grudge about that, and you spend a fair amount of time trying to get that attention and love from people around you. So both ends of the spectrum does give you that feeling that, hey, I'm truly not connected to myself. I'm truly not doing what I need to do. So I had this very sheltered upbringing. And at the end of it, I went abroad. I had to start my life abroad. And I became fairly independent. I became fairly confident in myself. And when I moved to India, I was in a real shell shock. I came to India a few months before getting married. And I had spent a long time trying to break free from this ideal job, this ideal life notion that I had bought into. I had a very successful career. So it took a lot of strength and courage to truly walk away from it and truly follow my dreams. So I came to India with, stars in my eyes, thinking I'm going to truly follow my dreams. But when I came here, I realized that people, especially women, were always expected to be someone, to do something. And across different levels and ages and time periods, these expectations may have changed in some way. In some earlier, women were expected to stay home and take care of their kids. Now women are expected to work and be equal earning partners. But at every point of time, women are very busy conforming to a particular stereotype out there. If I don't want to be a homemaker, I have to be a successful career woman. So there are already these roles, and it's women who enforce this on women, subconsciously. For example, growing up, I saw how dedicated my mother was to my father, or how dedicated my grandmother was to my grandfather. So I took it upon myself that that is the role of a woman. I got married and I started doing the same things for my husband. I started prioritizing him over myself. For me, a woman's role was very much as the homemaker, as the nurturer, and as a person, I'm affectionate. So I thought this was my duty, in heaven. And at the end of it, there came a time in my life where I really started questioning again if there was more to life. I couldn't believe I had this successful career. I gave it up and I moved to India. And all this while, my husband, my partner, my family is very encouraging of my career. But deep down inside of me, I just had bought into that stereotypical notion of what a woman's role is. a woman's role is. In my head, I thought at that time to get married, to have kids, to do this, to do that. And it's okay if that's what you truly want. There's nothing wrong with it. If you truly want that for your life, that's great. But I think a lot of the times we don't question ourselves if that's what we truly want. It is just an idea, just a notion that we have learned from people around us. And that's another subconscious criteria for happiness. So I had done that and I started, like, again finding myself a bit lost and confused. And then I realized that, this is something that happens to women all the time. We're so busy trying to be the good daughter. And it's not just women, actually, it happens to everybody, even men, but women more so in our society. I feel we're so busy trying to be the good daughter, the good student, the good wife, the good mother, that that's how we gain a sense of identity from the people around us. And it is extremely sad when I think of it, because I feel and I know that a lot of you out there listening to this message resonate with it. Some of you are thinking to yourselves, but I did everything right. I ticked all the boxes. Then why is it happening with me? Why is it that my child does not respect me? Why is it that my partner has walked out on me? Why is it that I'm never good enough for my parents' approval? And now, if you feel like connect with this message, I'm just going to ask you to stop and just take a deep breath and stop for a moment and give yourself that attention, that love, that care that you're looking for outside. We have based our value as human beings on the validation and value others see in us. This is a childhood mechanism. I explained how it comes into being. But somewhere down the line today, we actually feel that we are not good enough. We have no standing without these things around you. And so I'm going to ask you for a second, if you just had 1 year of your life to live, and if there were no repercussions to any action, right? You could truly do whatever you feel like. What would that thing be? My husband asked me this question 6, 7 months ago. And that answer, what came out inside of me, was truly shocking, because it had nothing to do with family, it had nothing to do with home, it had nothing to do with work. It was a passion, and just the urgency of life running by made me reflect and think, oh my God, I'm doing nothing in the direction of my passion, in the direction of my own happiness. All my decisions are being driven by others. So I'm asking you the same question, which got me thinking. I'm offering that to you and saying, think and see, because that will be the silent whisper in your heart telling you what is it that you truly want from life. And it may not be something that you can achieve today, but at least ensure that you're walking that path in the long run. Also, that feeling that comes up in your heart the moment you think of that thing, that's the feeling I want you to base your life on. I want you to base your decisions on. That feeling is that love, that passion in your heart, which is your own inner calling. Take a step in that direction without basing your life on everybody else. And I say this because, and I'm talking to women here more than anything, is because I think women need to hear this message. I have so many, I'm a therapist and I work with so many brilliant women who are always battling with what they really want and what everyone else wants. They somehow think it's their duty to put themselves beneath everybody else. It's better, let my kids come first, let my partner come first, let my parents come first, let my in-laws come first, let society come first. But I'll tell you, I'll just stop you there and say, the greatest service you can do to society is to take care of yourself first and lead an empowered life. If you do things at the cost of you, you'll never last long. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So you have to ensure your cup is full. When I was a kid, I had read this slogan somewhere, service before self. And as a kid, I was like, yeah, 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 that's the way to be. But today, as an adult, I will say no. It's always self before service. Because if there is no self, there will be no service. So focus on your inner wellness, inner empowerment, inner strength. Because what the world right now needs are people who are truly awake, comfortable, and confident and strong in themselves. because these are the people who can carve the way out for a new future tomorrow. So, this is my message that I'd like to share with you. And I would just like to tell you that when you take a direction, take a step in the direction of yourself, it may not be easy at first. It may be a bit overwhelming. People will make you feel guilty, or you will make yourself feel guilty. But in the long run, you will be at a much more emotionally empowered space because you will truly be connected to who you are. And when you're connected to who you are, you're very strong, you're very confident, and you're able to love and give unconditionally. But if I'm not connected to who I am, no matter what I do, I will always expect from people. So I might sacrifice myself totally, hoping that my husband or my child or my parents are going to see this, society will see this and take care of me. But at the end of the day, I will feel really drained and I will lash out at the very same people who I want to protect. So you must take care of yourself because only when you truly love and connect with who you are, you can give other people that freedom. You can love without expectations because your inherent needs are taken care of. This process in psychology is called individuation, when you break away and become who you are. But I see it as a greater step towards commonality because when everybody wakes up to who they are, we truly create a world which can work together in strength and spirit. So, this is my message that I really want to share with each one of you. And I'll tell you that listen to that inner voice, that passion, whatever gives you inner joy, peace, and happiness, do more of that in your life. As you do more of that, as you listen to that voice inside, you will feel stronger. You will feel more powerful. You will feel happier, and that voice will become louder. So, with every step you take in that direction, that path will reveal itself. And who knows where it takes you? It took me down a completely different country, a completely different career, and a completely different lifestyle. And it has been rewarding. You will be surprised what lies ahead on this journey for you. And of course, there will be setbacks, there will be learning experiences, but you're better off learning on your terms than dragging yourself at someone else's terms. You know, I remember this line that if you don't live your dream, you'll be very busy working for someone else's dream. And you totally deserve to be heard. Don't think just because you're a woman, just because you're a mother, just because you're a wife, you need to take care of everyone at the cost of you. No, because think of the example you're setting for your daughters, your future generations. Don't do this. Focus on yourself because that's when these young women will truly see what it is to live an empowered, free life. And I also say this to all the young men watching the show. I understand society hasn't been easy for you as well. There are certain stereotypes that force you to be strong, force you to not express yourself, force you to hold up a front even if you're not able to. Again, you must honor what's inside of you because only when you honor and understand what's inside of you, the outside will begin to change. So, this is my message. And with this, I'd like to wish everyone a very good day. And I'd like to share one thing. We are at a time right now which is very difficult. And it's very important to have the right support structure to be able to process a lot of the challenges that we may be facing. This could be COVID related, this could be the uncertainty that this time brings. I know a lot of us are going through anxiety, and in general, a lot of us could also be dealing with a lot of things in our life, which so far we were able to distract ourselves from, but are not able to do so anymore. For that reason, I can't stress how important it is to have someone to talk to take that step towards your emotional and mental well-being. You know, when you are sick, you won't think twice before calling up a doctor, right? Similarly, when you're going through a difficult emotional phase, it's very important you reach out to a counselor, you reach out to a therapist, you reach out to somebody who can help you understand and guide you through this process of what you're going through. You know, I do a lot of work with the subconscious mind, and I know that in the long run, if your mind is not okay, your body also begins to wither. So now is the time when everyone's talking about immunity. Immunity needs to be at all times highs. And I know that emotions are very great determinants of immunity. So if you really want to be strong and protect yourself from everything that's happening, you have to be strong inside. And for that, please, if you're going through any challenge, reach out. to this beautiful team of mental health counselors who are available here at the Aambra Foundation. They have a helpline. The helpline number is available on your screens right now. Please, this is a free service and a very important, much needed service right now. So please make the most of it and know that no matter where you are, no matter what your struggles are, you are not alone and you do not need to settle for this in life. You have the true right and the ability to create the life that you want. You are totally worth it. So take a step in the direction of you. With that, have a wonderful day and take care.